Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today, I'm going to be showing you how I can up vegan cheese sauce. This stuff is amazing. I actually canned this stuff up back in April, and it is currently the middle of October, something like that. I filmed this video when we lived in Washington State, so it's a different kitchen, and so I figured I'd come on here and give you guys a little bit of context here because it's been so long. This recipe is fantastic. It's potatoes and carrots. That's basically it. And then I'm going to show you at the end how you can actually take this jar and turn it into the vegan cheese sauce. It's kind of like a nacho cheese sauce. You can spice it however you like to whatever heat level you like, make it taste like whatever you like. It's a pretty neutral background, and you can just take this and run with it and make it however you want. This stuff is delicious. Definitely not keto, obviously potatoes and carrots. So if you guys are doing low carb thing, this might not be for you. But if you guys aren't doing low carb thing, if you're doing vegan, if you're doing just whatever you like and you want some good, cheap, easy cheese sauce, this is definitely the ticket for you. I hope that you guys enjoy this video. I'm going to walk you through all the different steps, so let's go ahead and jump into the video. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make the starter, and then we're going to come back later on and we're going to actually prepare it into the vegan cheese sauce. All we're going to do right now is just par cook the potatoes, par cook the carrots, put them in a jar, can them up, and that's all she wrote. These ones are a lot gangly. I don't know what you call them, but they're pretty gone. So basically what we want to do with this is we want to fill this up about 1 1/3 cup of potatoes, and then just the rest of the way basically with carrots. So we're going to do a practice run and see what weight of potatoes it's going to take to fill up one of these jars, so we can do it on our own, because I am not about to have a repeat of last time, I'll tell you what. Okay, so 7 ounces. We're going to cut these in a little bit smaller pieces, not tiny, but just not quite as gargantuan chunks as we do potatoes. Perfect. So that was about 10.5 ounces of potatoes. And then 2.5 ounces of potatoes. You can see it's merged, it's gone up just a little bit on these, which is totally fine because we actually have to par cook them, and that'll make them a little bit more malleable, and then malleable, whatever, and they'll be able to actually fit in the jars a little bit better. So we have 10.5 ounces of carrots per jar. We need 10.5 pounds of potatoes pre-peel and 2.5 pounds of carrots pre-peeled. I'm not going to fill up the jars. I know it looks like I am, but we're actually going to do these. Like I said, I wanted to get an idea of the size of all of these things so that I don't want to have a repeat of the potatoes. I do not want to have a repeat of that. We're going to go ahead and just keep filling up this colander, and then that way we can actually wash them out or rinse them off, whatever. Okay, so we need 10.5 pounds. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and just load up all of our jars. Here, I'm gonna load it up with the potatoes first, and then we're gonna come through and we're gonna top it off with all the carrots.
Maybe it's an HOA, but there was the one in September, the Heartland Homesteaders,
So we got all the jars loaded up, and now we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna fill them up with water up to the 1-inch head space. You can put a little bit of salt in here if you want to. You can put a half of a teaspoon of salt per jar. We're gonna skip that entirely just in case, because I wanna make sure that I'm leaving myself open for whatever I feel like actually doing with this. And I wanna make sure that I'm noting in here with the carrots, it doesn't matter how many carrots you put in here, it's simply for color. You could even omit the carrots. It's just for color. That's all it is. You just need, yeah, it's just there to give it kind of like an orange hue. All right, we have our hot water, we have our hot jars, we have our hot canner, and now we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna load it up. And I want to make sure that I'm pointing out here that I'm gonna be canning with our lovely 4 jars of canning lids here. These things are thebomb.com. I love these 4 jars canning lids. This is an American-owned company. They're BPA free. They have an amazing seal around the outside of them. I'm gonna show you that one later so you can see just how awesome the seal is on these ones. These lids are just fantastic. I've been using these very regularly since the end of January. It is currently the beginning of May, and I've not had a single failure, not even one. So these lids are amazing, and I want to make sure that I'm pointing out, if you guys go in the description down below as well as the pinned comment down below, I'm gonna link I'm gonna put a link to their website where you can actually get 10% off of whatever you guys are ordering. Now we're gonna go ahead and, like I said, we're just gonna top these off. We're gonna fill them up to the 1-inch headspace. And we're gonna debubble it, where we're gonna take our debubbler tool, or you can use a chopstick if you want to. Just don't use anything metal because you'll scratch your jar. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna take our vinegar and dip our towel in it, or just do what I just did. We're gonna wipe the rim just to make sure that we have everything off of the rim here. Forgot that I had some regular mouth ones, so before you want to make sure that it is actually filled to the proper level before you do your final wipe off. And if you do have to top it off anymore, you need to make sure that you're going to re-wipe it. And then we're going to tighten this bad boy fingertip tight, and that is as tight as you can get it realistically with these 3 fingertips. It's like it's just a built-in torque wrench. It's just perfect. Make sure the water is the correct temperature, which it is. Turn the heat down just to keep it warm. So we're just going to do that exact same thing with all of these. We got all of our jars loaded up in here, so now we're going to go ahead and start the actual canning process. And what we're gonna do with our particular canner, we're gonna make sure that this thing works. We're gonna make sure we can see through there completely. Make sure our seal is nice and good and snug. Put this on here, crank the heat up to high. Once this thing starts to reach our temperature, it's gonna start to steam out of here. When that happens, this thing is gonna pop up. Once this pops up, usually a couple minutes after that, this thing will be spewing steam profusely. We'll set our timer for 10 minutes to let it vent. When that 10 minutes is up, we will put our jiggler on there and let it come up to where whenever it starts to dance around on top of there, then we're gonna set our timers for, hold on. The actual canning time for this is gonna be 35 minutes because we're doing pints, and the carrots, you need to cook them for 25 minutes, but the potatoes you're supposed to cook for 35 minutes. So by default, we automatically go with the higher time, which is 35 minutes. So once this thing is ready to go, we're gonna process it at the 10 pounds of pressure. For my area, we're gonna process it for 10 pounds of pressure for 35 minutes. And so when we're all done with that, I will bring you back and I'll show you what we end up with. So we are finally ready to go ahead and turn our cheese starter into some vegan cheese. We're getting ready to make some vegan taco bowls. So I figured what better time to make it for you guys than now. Go ahead and pop the top here. My can opener is in storage, so. So we're just gonna dump the whole thing in there, the juice and all. One thing that I've noticed, because I've made this a couple times since I actually canned this up, and the thing that I noticed, I think it'd be best if you put the actual ingredients in here to about the shoulder and then fill the rest up with water, because you do want to have extra, what do you call it, starchy potato water for this recipe. It's good for the texture of it. So this is all just completely about developing the texture of it. You just want to get it to the texture that you enjoy. And then once it's there, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add in a few very basic seasonings to it. And when you're making this, you can make it as complicated or as simple as you want to. We're just kind of starting with base here. So we're gonna go ahead, turn this on. You don't need a high power blender for this. Honestly, you could probably use a potato masher if you wanted to. These are so broken down, it's not even like, they're just basically liquid anyways. It's an exaggeration. But you do not need a high power blender for this. That's just what I have right now. Okay. So we're gonna turn it on, let it start to kind of mix up in there. Hopefully you can see that okay. that is good for that part of it. And then for this, we're gonna add in this nutritional yeast. That is what makes this the cheesy flavor. You can get you can get this, I got this at my local co-op. They also sell it in the bulk section. I like to get it on Amazon. Or no, I don't think, did I get it on Amazon? I don't think I've got it on Amazon, but you can totally get it on Amazon. I will link it down below for you guys so you can have an easy access to it. But I like to get it actually at Azure, and I have it on my order. It's coming. I got a big old case of this. We are gonna start out at about 1/3 of a cup of nutritional yeast for this amount, or for this, whatever. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. And then we're gonna add in salt, onion powder, and garlic powder. We're gonna start with about a teaspoon of salt, and then we're gonna do about half of a teaspoon of each of these. Give it a swirl, give it a taste test, and kind of go from there. All of this is just based on taste anyways, so it's not a big deal. Just remember that it's easier to add than it is to take away, because you can't take it away. So start on the light side when you're doing this, and then you can always mix it and taste it. And if you want to get this to be a little bit creamier, you can also add, if you have a high-powered blender, you can add just the raw cashews to it. It'll give it kind of like a little bit of a creamy texture, like it'll, you know, just give it like a more of a fatty feel in your mouth. Or if you don't have a high-powered blender, you can soak the cashews and then it will blend up much easier. All right, so we're just gonna give this a blend. See where we're at. It needs like I'm gonna add in just a little bit more of each of these. So I think I only did like 1/4 of a teaspoon. I don't think I did 1/2 of a teaspoon. So I think we're probably doing about 1/2 of a cup of nutritional yeast in this one, honestly. You can see like it's thick. It's like nacho cheese. Yep, that did it. That's spot on. This is so delicious. You can add like pepper to it. You can add like chili powder to it. You could add taco seasoning. You could add soy sauce to it instead of some of the water, and that would give it kind of like a bit of an Asian flair to it. There's lots of different possibilities to this. You can add this on top of broccoli. You can add, it's like a cheesy sauce on top of broccoli. You can add this on top of, it doesn't even have to stay vegan. You can put it on top of meat if you want to. You can put it on top of regular nachos. You can put it on top of like plant-based nachos. I mean, I like to put it inside of taco bowls. I think it's delicious. You could put it with like a Buddha bowl or something like that. Really anywhere that cheese would be good, this would be good. Well, cheese sauce, I should say. So this is definitely an awesome thing to make, an awesome thing to have in your pantry. I really hope that you guys try it. If you do, make sure you let me know down below. And if you guys are on Instagram, make sure you tag me on Instagram if you guys do make this. I would love to hear from you guys over on Instagram. If you guys are new around here, I like to do all kinds of videos on food preservation, and that is fermenting, canning, freezing, dehydrating. I think that about covers it, and all of those sorts of things, as well as how to actually use those foods in everyday cooking. So make sure, if that sounds interesting to you, check out this subscription down below here. To click that little button, and that will take you to subscribe to the channel. Up here is a video that Mr. Google Pants thinks that you're gonna enjoy. This one here is going to be another video that I think you're gonna enjoy, probably a canning video, and then up here is gonna be my canning playlist. Make sure you check that one out. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.